Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. The sun beat me up this morning. That's okay. I am planning to come outside and get something done that I've been putting off for a couple weeks now, which is, I think I do it every single year. And every single year I kick myself this time of year wishing I had done it a couple weeks ago. And that is cutting back my annuals. It is something that just absolutely needs to happen, especially if you have a long growing season like I do. I hate doing it because I hate cutting off the blooms. It hurts my soul to cut off the blooms, but if I don't cut off the blooms, if I don't do a mid-season cutback, then come like back to school season, late August, September, my plants are looking bad. They're looking really, really tired and not happy. So cutting your annuals back is super important for a couple reasons. One, it kind of rejuvenates the plant. It gives the plant a chance to, like, I don't want to say start fresh, but start anew for the season. It gives it a chance to branch out, create more foliage, and thus create more blooms for the rest of the season. One thing you don't have to worry about proven winners annuals is most proven winners annuals are bred to be sterile. So they're not going to set seed anyway. But if you have other annuals, say that you've grown from seed, if you don't cut those back, they're going to set seed and then they're going to think they're done with their life cycle and they're just going to stop blooming for you. So it's super, super important to cut annuals back that are grown from seed or that are not sterile. And then the third reason to cut them back is if they look like they are kind of suffering from heat, which a lot of mine are right now, giving them a break and letting them take all the energy and putting it into more root production and more leaf production is really going to help the plant in the long run. And it almost gives them a break until it cools down a little bit and then they can start blooming their heads off again. So I don't like doing it, but it is something that I have to do, and it is something that I'm determined to do today. So this is the main area that I'm going to be working today. I want to finish before it gets too hot. It's going to be triple digits again today, of course. So I just want to get this done before it gets too hot. So I'm limiting myself to just this area today, and then I'll work on other days at other times. So this is my zigzag planter. I'm sure you all have seen it. It's looking fabulous. What I have is I have purple fountain grass, and then in between that, I have pink cashmere superbena, which is just doing fabulous. And you would look at this and say, why cut that back? It looks so good. But if you can see, it's kind of starting to grow down over the edges. And there are some areas that are getting a little leggy and a little tired, especially on the other side. I'll show you that in a second. So I think it'll be good just to kind of just gently cut it back. I'm only going to cut my my annuals back to about a quarter. You can do anywhere from a quarter to a third. I think at this late in the season, let's see, what day is it? I think it's the beginning of it. It's the last day of July, beginning of August. I would say, like, I personally would limit it to a quarter, cutting a quarter of the way back, because you don't want to cut so far back that there's no more leaf nodes. If you cut past where there's any leaf nodes, there's no way for that plant to get any sun, and so then that means no way for it to take up any water, and it's just going to die. So I'm only going to cut mine a quarter of the way back. I'm also going to cut my heliotrope back, which has been performing really, really well. This is Fragrant Delight heliotrope, and you can see it's kind of almost burying the dead. You can see the old blooms and then the new blooms are coming up over it, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut a little of it back just to rejuvenate it. Then the big thing that really needs to be cut back that I am not looking forward to are my hanging baskets. They are looking so tired, so tired. So let's see, this is Supertunia Bordeaux right here. And I think that that's going to be pretty easy to cut back. I think that'll take it. The one that I'm nervous about cutting back is the Supertunia Limoncello up here. I think I waited a little too long to cut this guy back because you can kind of see all the brown deep down in there. So I'm going to be really careful cutting that Limoncello back and seeing how it does. And then you can see that the foliage on this plant is looking really kind of pale yellow, like just not vibrant at all, not a deep green color. And we have been fertilizing this plant once a week, every single week. It's just because we are watering it so much. We're watering these hanging baskets 3 times a day. It's struggling. It's a lot of plants in one basket. And so it's just having a hard time. So cutting it back is definitely the way to go. With this hanging basket, I just don't want to do it. And then you can see back here on this side of the zigzag planter, the pink cashmere superbena is also kind of growing in over here. And this side is getting just a little bit leggy. Honestly, like, I don't have to cut this plant back. It still looks so good, but I'm just going to be proactive and know that in the next month, I'm going to be happy that I did this today. Then the last thing that I wanted to do today is tie up some of my purple fountain grass, because my purple fountain grass is getting huge. So you can see like this one right here, it's actually starting to flop over a little bit. It's getting so big. This one, look at this one. Look at how big this one is. It's just crazy. I knew that these were going to get so huge that I knew they were going to do this. So let's see. This one and this one, I actually tied up when they were a little bit smaller. They started flopping over and I tied them up so that they would be sticking straight up. You can see, let's see, here we go. I have one bamboo stake right there. Now at this point, I'm gonna need to use more than one bamboo stake. I'll probably use like 4 per plant, and I'll need to tie them up, work on tying them up. I might need Jason's help because they are huge. There's a little backed up look at the zigzag planter from this side. So I'm going to be staking up all these grasses as best I can. They are actually coming out of the zigzag planter at the end of the season. Once I cut them back, I'm gonna transplant them somewhere else, or maybe even before that, so I can get other ones in the fall. I think I'm gonna put them in the long border because they're so big, they're so robust. I could probably even divide them, and they're just too big for the zigzag planter, which I knew that was going to happen, but I might as well enjoy them while I have them. So I'm going to stake these up as best I can, and then I'll go through, I'll cut back all my annuals. And then the last thing that I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to add some more slow release fertilizer for the annuals, because I think that they'll need that. I probably need to replenish that again at this point. So right now I'm going to finish my coffee and I'm going to go grab all the supplies that I need to get this done today. All right, hanging baskets are done. They look terrible. They look so bad, but that's okay. It's for the good of the plant. I didn't totally cut them super far back because I wanted to make sure I still had the leaf buds on them. Let's see, I left one here. So you see this kind of straggly stem thing. So there's some leaves. I can cut this one back all the way to about here though, because there's foliage, these beautiful leaves that are going to take in the sunlight. And then what happens is they photosynthesize, they take in the sunlight, and then that causes the stoma on the leaves to open. That causes evaporation, and then the evaporation causes them to drink up the water. So anyway, the importance of having leaves still on your plants is huge. Otherwise, you're just going to be left with brown sticks, which will not look good at all. So I've got these done. There's the carnage. Not too bad. Now I just have to fertilize them with the slow release fertilizer, and then I'll get on the zigzag planter, which is going to be a little bit bigger of a job, but I'm not too worried about it. One thing I did forget to say is, yes, I am going to cut back my dichondra silver falls. Even though it looks so good, I am going to rejuvenate it. I feel like I just have to. So here's what I'm using for fertilizing. It's the premium continuous release plant food. This stuff is heat activated, so it's going to start working so fast because we're still so hot right now. So I'm just going to be putting this in. Again, we are still using the water soluble fertilizer once a week. We're spraying that on, but it's obviously not enough for the hanging baskets. So adding just a little bit more of this is definitely going to help them out. Okay, while Jason is helping me clean up all the carnage, you can kind of take a look at what I did. Mainly cutting it up, like bringing it up to the planter, giving the dichondra silver falls a bowl cut, which is so sad, and then really just cutting everything back. Some places, like the pink cashmere superbena that were kind of under the purple fountain grass, were getting really, really leggy. So I definitely cut those back, and I think I'll find even more once I tie the purple fountain grass up. So while Jason's cleaning up, I am going to get started on getting those purple fountain grasses staked up a little bit. I don't think this is going to solve the whole problem, but I think it's definitely going to help it. So if you can see, this is one purple fountain grass, you guys, and it is absolutely huge. It's falling over this way. It's falling over this way. And I do need to divide it. It probably needs to be in a different area, but for now I have about 3 more months of my growing season. So I want to kind of limp it through, and to do that, I'm going to use bamboo stakes. These are 4-foot tall bamboo stakes, and I'm going to put about 3 or 4 of them in the purple fountain grass. And then I will take twine. I'll have Jason help me hold the purple fountain grass up and tie a circle of twine around the grass, so that hopefully that can give more of an upright shape. Like I said, it's not going to solve the problem, but it's going to make it a little bit better. And as these guys get even bigger, it's going to be able to, I guess, just not take over everything else, which is probably what will happen if I don't address it at all. So let me get started with the purple fountain grass. Well, if you ever wanted to see a video where the before looks better than the after, this is it. But have faith, it will be worth it in the end. I am telling myself that as much as I'm telling all of you that. So we cut back the dichondra silver falls. It looks like I gave it a bowl cut. We cut back the pink cashmere superbena. I kind of cut back the heliotrope. I didn't want to cut it back too much just because I didn't want it to suffer. So I'll probably come through here and kind of like deadhead it a little more and make it look a little nicer, but not right now. Give it a break. And then tied up the purple fountain grasses, which I know how funny these look, but trust me, they are going to kind of flop over. They're going to loosen up over the next couple days. And by tying them up like this, it's going to give the pink cashmere a chance to grow in these blank spots that were created from the purple fountain grass flopping over. So in about 2 weeks, this whole area is going to look really good again. The hanging baskets are going to look better. Everything's going to look so much better, and it's going to be able to take me through all the way through fall to my first frost. So I hate doing this. I think you could probably get that from this video and my tone this video. I hate doing this, but I know how important it is. And it's just a good reminder. You can do this anytime during the growing season. It's just super important. Make sure you don't cut off past where the leaf nodes stop, and make sure you fertilize after. So Jason and I have been fertilizing with the water-soluble fertilizer. We'll probably give it an extra dose this week, and then it does have that slow release fertilizer. So I think everything's going to be pretty happy. So I'm going to go look at some other pretty flowers that I haven't cut back yet. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.